What's going on, Player Profiler Nation? This is episode 1, the premiere episode of the Players Lounge. I'm Matty Kiwoom, and I'm joined by this hunk here, Cody Carpentier. Say what's up to the people, Cody.
My man, I've done multiple shows this year live in the flesh with some people. None I've been more excited for than this one.
Oh, you're making me blush. You're making me blush.
I'm excited about this one. We've been keeping it under wraps for a minute.
Yeah.
And these aren't going to be live.
Mm-hmm.
These are premiered. If you're listening to this, if you're watching this, it's premiered or it's on podcast.
Right.
I have not been more excited about a show than I am for the Players Lounge.
I can admit this now that we're recording, and that I know for a fact you're not bailing on me. You didn't set me up to kind of haze me because I'm new to the squad. I'm new to Player Profile. But I have had some sleepless nights thinking about this show. Not that I'm nervous, not that I'm panicking, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think this show is going to be a ton of fun. We've linked up on some shows here on the network. And as the kids would say, we had that rapport.
I think that was natural, too.
Kinda.
We did. I couldn't even tell you. I can't remember what our first show was together.
Maybe like a starter sit?
I think it was a starter sit.
I think it was a starter
like
sit.
a week 14 starter sit.
Yeah.
And we had a great show.
It was fun.
We spit facts.
Yep.
I think we had like 100% hit rate.
We talked about Saquon Barkley's leather pants.
Yeah, and I don't think he probably didn't play.
No, he did play. He didn't play great. We thought leather pants translated to like smash mode.
Yeah, but I also think like we told somebody to play Kenny Gainwell over Saquon Barkley. I think Kenny had like 2 touchdowns that week. So,
well, I think that makes up for it. I think we deserve to wear leather pants.
That's what I'm saying. I think we had like 100% hit rate.
Yeah,
we're pretty good.
I mean, we're not to brag, but we're the best that there is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be.
Exactly. But this isn't a fantasy football show.
No.
And I think that's what makes it different is that, yes, our first show was ever starter stream. You got the game plan.
Mm-hmm.
You got trade gods. I got Undercovered Ops. I got the future cast.
Mm-hmm.
And we do fantasy football shows. But this, the Players Lounge, we've already talked through this in the trailer. If you've listened to the trailer, shout out to you. If you haven't, go back and listen to it. It's on the podcast feed. It's on YouTube at Player Profiler. Podcast feed, the Players Lounge, if you're listening to this on video. We talked about the reason for this show. Mm-hmm. And it's to open the eyes of our community, our fantasy football community, to the world, and let them know who he is,
and what we're about.
Because we ain't about that fugaze.
No fugaze. No. We're not about the whizzies, the wazzies,
We're about that action.
We real.
We're about that action.
Look, we can touch.
We're about that
We're
action.
in person.
We're in person.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh.
Hilton Garden, South Park, Charlotte.
Can we talk about being in person real quick?
Let's do it.
So I'm going to admit this. This is the episode 1 of the Player Lounge. I'm pouring out my cortisone for all you faithful here. This is breaking the fourth wall a little bit. This is the first time I've ever met Cody live. And I'm not going to lie. Was I nervous? Yeah, I was. It's fucking Cody Carpentier. And to meet him in person, I'm not going to lie. At first, I even was talking to my wife. I was like, hey, I haven't made a new friend in a long time. I'm a little nervous. She was like, it's going to be great. You're a nice guy. He seems like a nice guy. You guys are going to have a lot of fun. She was right. Cody's the man.
Did your wife ever watch one of my shows?
I bet you if I asked her right now, like if I were to call her right now and be like, babe, have you listened to Cody? She would say yes. But no, she probably hasn't. She plays fantasy, but she's not about it like that,
She knows who to go to for the real fantasy content, though.
Me. No, me.
I mean, what are you talking about?
No, I tell her about fantasy.
You were the one nervous. She told you can be all right.
That was an interpersonal interaction.
I'm just saying.
It had nothing to do with fantasy. You want to talk about starter sit? I mean, I got her. I can get her back.
You said, hey, bub, I'm nervous about meeting fella. His hair's a little intimidating. He used to be bald as shit. He about to leave me. He about to flake on me, not show up.
Listen, okay.
Man.
Listen,
I'm just saying. You was nervous. She said, "You're good."
She told me I was good, but here's the thing: if it was a hair thing, I mean, come on, it ain't a hair thing. Now, if I told her that, I was like, "Wow, Cody looks like he could have got 6 sacks in the NFL this year."
6?
Yeah, I mean, you're a pretty big guy.
6?
I'm not that big. I'm hefty, fluffy, as Gabriel Iglesias would call it.
Oh, Gabriel Iglesias. You opened the rabbit hole of ASAP.
Hey, I mean, he's funny.
ASAP Louis, son.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll both cross our legs. That means that's how you know we mean business.
Gabriel Iglesias, bro. I saw him in Treasure Island in Red Wing, Minnesota for my mom's 42nd birthday.
I'm not gonna lie to you. All of that sounded fake.
I took my mom.
The location sounded fake. Everything sounded fake. That sounded like I got a girlfriend in Canada.
I took my mom to see Gabriel Iglesias for like her 42nd or 43rd birthday.
Yeah.
Fucking died.
He's very funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's very funny. But no, I will admit it. Listen, I'm not too big to say I was a fan of Player Profiler long before I've done content for him. And I was a fan of yours.
I appreciate that,
So
bro.
to meet in the flesh, to do this live, I had some butterflies kicking. But, you knocked on my door quite brutally, I might add. Didn't know if it was you or the Popo. Then I opened the door. I thought it was the Popo.
We here, son.
And you were here. And now, we come record the Players Lounge. And it's been like a natural fit. It's like I've known you my whole damn life.
I don't give a fuck, man.
I'm like your older fat brother.
You're sitting here trying to give me flowers. I want to give you flowers. You know
give me all the
because
flowers.
You are the one that jumped when I said, hey, we need somebody to spot, start or sit. You were the one that shot me the text after the show and said, hey, bro, I felt that rapport.
It was good.
And you were the one that said, hey, man, this is what my schedule looks like. And I said, hey, I'm about that action. Let's go.
Yeah.
And you've opened the door every time, pun intended.
That time, literally I did today.
And there's nobody else that I think, some could do it. Nobody else I'd rather do it with. I'm happy. I'm thankful for you to want to do it, because there ain't many motherfuckers that are about that action, and you got a full-time job and you about that action. So I appreciate you. I respect you. I cheers to you. And let's have a goddamn show. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. You want to talk about the combine?
Sure.
NFL combine is come and gone. Somebody was there. I'm not going to say who. It wasn't me. Was it you?
It was me. A couple weeks ago, I was at the combine.
Yep. How was it?
How
was it just to be in the combine?
It's different, man.
Yeah.
It's you watch the combine as a youngin', and it was always, it's not the spectacle it is now, obviously, but when you go back in time, you're like, oh, let's watch the combine. Guys going to run the 40s, do all this bullshit. Now I understand the back end combine. Alex Dunlap's been going to the combine for 12 fucking years.
Shout out Alex.
Shout out Alex Dunlap. This is my second year going, and he's walked me through every step. I think I've done a great job picking up what he's dropped down. He's told me a lot of shit. He's introduced me to a lot of people. Lance Zierlein, Matthew Berry. I can't even come on, man. That's top tier.
Matthew Berry.
That's top tier right there. And
he's the guy.
I can't thank him enough for that. But with that being said, what was the combine like? I got a notepad with over 260 notes, and that's part of the dog grading. In person, in the flesh, communication, key, learning who they are, how they are, dogwater.com, figuring out that shit. That's what that's from. 250 plus notes from dudes from the combine. Over almost 200 videos from the combine. That's what it's about. People don't see that. People say, oh, you run the 40-yard dash. You going to go to the stadium and watch them run the 40-yard dash? They don't know that I was up before 8 a.m. every morning. I know it's not early, but in the context of how I finished the story,
it's up early.
8 a.m. at the convention center, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah. And
I didn't put my eyes to the bed until 4 a.m. most nights.
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. They got interviews. They had interviews stacked from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. every day. And you gotta stick a lunch in there somewhere. And then the nighttime, man, you get back and show, and then you on the town. Then you're out to Burn getting cigars. Then you're out to the Punch Bowl Social. I think we went to the Punch Bowl Social 6 times, playing darts, playing bags, communicating with people, networking. You're going out to Prime. That's when you really rubbing shoulders with Stephen Jones, all these dogs. Jack Del Rio's there hugging people.
Jack Del Rio? Jack Del Rio?
Kevin Stefanski's there at fucking 3 a.m.
Broing out? He does look like a bro.
That's what I'm saying. The combine, people can say it's underwear Olympics all they want. People can say it's a drunk fest all they want. It's both of those things.
Yeah.
But it is such a major key in the NFL offseason circadian rhythm that if it's not there, the NFL is different. The combine will never go away. And It shouldn't never go away. Will it move? I think it will end up moving. Will it be a different combine if it's in Vegas or Dallas? I think so. But Indianapolis hits different. Indianapolis blows dick, but Indianapolis hits different because
I've
it's.
always heard Indianapolis is a secretly good city. Is that not true?
I mean,
Like in terms of like fun.
no,
It's not
nothing
fun.
to do-
Zero fun, sir.
The only thing to do in Indianapolis is to walk on the skyways to the convention center, walk past 8 homeless people, go to the Lucas Oil, leave Lucas Oil, back in the convention center, back in the skyways, past 8 homeless people, back to your pad,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh, it's time for dinner, and you walk past 16 steakhouses, and you have to pick one of the steakhouses. There's
That
steakhouses.
sounds pretty good to
There's
me.
steakhouses, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's steakhouses everywhere. Burn Cigar Lounge is probably my favorite spot in the whole town.
Okay.
Burn Cigar by Rocky Patel.
Burn cigars.
Hammer. Awesome. Love it. Beautiful. Epic.
Sounds great.
Their indoor humidor is like the size of like 3 of these rooms right here.
What'd you smoke? What'd you grab? What was the sticks you grabbed?
Fuente. Basic Fuente.
Okay.
Basic Fuente, short stick, mild.
Mild. You gotta go mild. When you're working, can't go harsh. You can't be blowing chunks.
You cannot be going heavy when you work.
No.
You go heavy, you feel that shit the next day. I felt it the next day. I got home like 3:30, 4 o'clock that morning and went to bed, had to get back up 8 o'clock, took a shower, slept obviously, sleeping off of no shower
Yeah.
after cigars.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
Your pillow stinks for a week.
Took a shower, still smelled like it. Went to interviews, still smelled like a cigar, still smelled like booze bag. It was a great time. Long story short, great time in Indianapolis.
Mhm.
The city is not gonna hold a goddamn stick to Las Vegas when it goes there in a couple of years. But
Is it going there?
wink, wink, nod, nod. I think so.
Oh, I mean, listen, everything you just described, minus the waking up before 8 o'clock to do like notes, sounds fantastic. I'm in.
Yeah.
Can I evaluate players? No. Darts? Not well, but I'll try.
Yeah.
Can I drink beers? Yeah. Yeah, I can. Can I have a cigar? A mild one, like you said.
Yeah.
Not going to get crazy. Not going to get lightheaded. I'm not going to sit there and see Kevin Stefanski and throw up on his shoes. Although, that might be an epic story. But that does sound like a time that I want to get in on. If you ever need someone to go, get you and Alex coffee, get you guys set
You
up.
can carry my bags.
I can carry bags. I'm a hefty man. I can carry bags.
You look
You know,
strong, man. You look
I'm pretty strong. I can do that. I mean, my stamina is not great, but I'm a dog. My dog rating's through the roof.
What is it?
There's a roof. It's higher than that.
It's a 10 grade. You know what menace level is?
What's that?
Menace level's 9.5 and above.
I'm 12.5. I'm carnage level.
I'm going to make a new scale.
You have to do the Kiwoom scale.
Fuck.
I'm that guy. I can party a little bit. I can hold my own, but I can also be professional.
I think a guy like George Pickens, I don't know if he can break through that scale. I got him he's in the menace level. He's the only one in the menace. Trey Palmer's like getting to the menace level.
Oh, that's exciting.
I don't think either of them could get up to that level.
Am I wearing a ski mask in my own living room watching the draft menace? Maybe. But did anyone take a picture of it and put it on Twitter and have it blow up? No. Blame my wife for that.
Okay, we're talking draft. I want to ask you a question because we've had multiple people interested in NFL mock drafts and prospecting and things like that. What part, because I know you're interested in mocks. We have a mock show that we do during the week.
Mhm.
I know you like prospects. What draws your attention to prospects?
Team building. I have a fascination with the art of team building. I love the idea of getting the guy that fits your scheme, getting the guy that fits your team, getting the guy who can take you to that next level. The idea of collecting talent, sorting through talent, finding the right pieces. I love it. That's why I love fantasy, because I like to pretend. I'm one of those old school guys where, a lot of the and I'm going to say what it is, a lot of the fantasy industry people, players around the world, whatever you want to call it, they love their projections. They love their stats. It becomes more of the numbers than it does the game. Me, I like to pretend like I am the team builder of a franchise, and I'm building my squad, and I care about the championship. I like that. So I like to pretend. So mock drafts is just another avenue to do that. So I'm putting myself in the shoes of the Jacksonville Jaguars where they select. I'm putting myself in the shoes of Ryan Poles, right, the GM of the Bears. What is he going to do with the 101? I like to pretend, kind of put myself in that. What would I do? And then you can do other ways. What's the noise say? It's fun. I like to do that, but I want to pretend like I'm a team builder, like I'm a general manager of the New England Patriots, and I'm putting together the team that's going to win again post Brady. That's stuff I like to do. I've been doing this forever. Little story about me. Little story I'll tell you guys. When I was a kid, me and my cousin, he had a chest full of action figures, Ninja Turtles, X-Men, Spawn characters. Remember Spawn characters?
Yep.
All those dudes in this big ass treasure chest. And I would go over his house after school. We would dump that bitch out. It would be a whole bunch of toys, and we would literally draft. He would take a guy, I would take a guy. He would take a guy, I would take a guy. And then we had no game because what happened every single time is my mom showed up to pick me up before we could do anything. But we drafted. We would draft these teams, and then Madden came along, and that's what we did. We would draft franchises.
OG Madden.
I'm talking about like the OG, the best Maddens, the Vic cover Maddens, the best Maddens, PlayStation 2 Maddens.
McNabb, Vince Young.
I'm talking before that.
Sean Alexander.
I'm talking I'm talking Dante Culpepper Madden, Mike Vick Madden. I'm talking Eddie George Madden, and we would draft these squads, and we would make sure the one rule we had to each be a franchise in the same division.
Brett Favre on the Jets, man.
Well, that was a funny one. That was a funny one because that was also a funny thing. We actually were talking about that earlier about how insane that whole story is. And if Rodgers goes to the Jets, I mean, get your own storyline, bud. We've seen this movie before.
August 7th, 2008, Bleacher Report. Come on, man. Try again.
Side note, do you think that part of his darkness retreat was him realizing if I go to the Jets, I'm just fucking Brett Favre? And I said, pause. I said that wrong. He's not literally fucking Brett Favre. I meant like he is walking in Brett Favre's shoes.
Do you think he's also part of that going, the Jets are the best spot for me, but that means I have to go to the Vikings next?
I mean, if there's a saying, right?
If you're gonna do it, then do it then.
If you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. If you're gonna be Brett Favre going to the Jets, you got to get your ass to the Vikings, and you got to throw that pick to not go to the Super Bowl. You got to end it exactly the way he ended it. Just be him, and then a few years later, show your dick to somebody, and a few years later after that, embezzle money. If you're gonna be in a little bit, I'm just kidding. That's maybe too far. But anyway, back to the story.
All the way in. That's the bottom line.
All the way in. So basically, back to what I was originally saying before I went in this insane rant about Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. What I've been about drafts. I love drafts. I love building teams.
But
and then fantasy did all that.
But bro, Aaron Rodgers could be on next year's Madden Cup in a Jets jersey.
Bro, this would be it would
we
be
are just
so
all
funny.
Over the board right now.
It would be so funny if Aaron Rodgers is the cover athlete for Madden in a Packers jersey, but before it gets released, gets traded to the Jets, so they have to swap a jersey. I mean, then they're literally just doing the exact same thing.
Back to the story. Yeah, basically the end of the story is I love to draft. I've been doing it my whole life, and if someone knocked on that door and was like, "Hey, I'd like to cover your jib, my friend. Would you like to run the Miami Dolphins?" I'd say, "Yeah, I would." Because I like building teams. So that's why I took this insanely long path to talk about why I like rookies, why I like to evaluate rookies, why I also know that I'm not suited to necessarily talk about the X's and O's, talk about the technique, talk about what they have on the field. I resort to guys like you to give me that information. And if I was to be hired to run the Dolphins, I'd hire you. I'd hire guys like you to tell me those things. I think that some of those things are learned in every facet of life. The X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's are learned. Mm-hmm. And you often hear people complain about, you didn't play football, you don't know. All of that stuff is learned. And you can argue that, yes, when you're younger in life and you learn the process, the two best times in life to learn are before you are cognitively inherent in cognitive. What's the word?
That's a word that there's no way I'm saving you.
There's
a reason why.
Once your cognitive capacity is large enough to start thinking on your own, it's too late to learn. So like when you learn between the ages of like 5 and 12, you're going to understand things at a higher level.
Like a sponge.
But then once you get past the age of like 20,
Mhm.
I think that you can start learning stuff again. I think that's why you see guys like in the NFL, the maturity grows. In college, you're not as mature because you don't give a shit enough. But the guys that do grow, the quarterbacks are usually the more mature people.
Right.
I think that's how it works. So I do think it's kind of bullshit when they say like, you didn't play football, you don't know this. It's like, well, I did play football in the most important years of my life growing up, but I didn't play in the pros. So like I get that, but I also think like you're still that age, you're still coherently strong enough to learn and to watch and reps, right? They say 10,000 hours, 10,000 reps, whatever way you look at it for whatever thing you're doing is a way to become a professional at something. And I think that it doesn't matter what you did. If you played soccer, track, sucked dick, laid on the ground, slept all day, like there's everything you do in life, 10,000 hours, 10,000 reps, I think that you can.
I played baseball. Was that a euphemism for, were you saying that baseball's like that? What are you saying? Wait, I think what aside from that comment, I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. Are you saying that I'm going to be your like apprentice? Are you going to teach me the ways?
Yes.
Are you going to be my Obi-Wan?
Kenobi.
Okay. Well, now you've done it on the show. You can't back out.
What I'm saying is that everything can be learned.
Okay.
And it all depends on what you want, how much you want it. Okay. And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand is that it's not all about like, oh, like, man, he played football. He knows he got the upper hand. He might have the upper hand. But we've seen a lot of football players that can't talk on the mic. We've seen a lot of football players that can't draw on the whiteboard. We've seen a lot of football players flame out of the NFL and try to do communication, try to study prospects, try to be GMs, and fucking bomb out.
It's true. So what you're saying is there's hope for me.
There's hope for everybody.
Oh, that's very deep. You didn't know you were going to get that here in the Players Lounge. You thought you were going to get a bunch of two bros talking whatever. This guy's dropping eggs of knowledge right on top of our heads.
They thought they were getting that fugazi. We ain't about that action.
We are never about that fugazi. Well, you know, let me ask you this. So this is, again, completely off the rails, but that's basically the lifeblood of this show.
Model of the show.
You say about that action. Where did you hear that term first?
That's a good thought. Who was it?
I don't know.
Marshawn Lynch?
Maybe.
About that action, boss. No, he said boss. Who about that action? Who about that action? About that action. I can't remember. I can't say offhand. I feel like it might have been Marshawn.
That's probably true. But you know where I heard it first?
Where?
My wife and I used to watch a show called 60 Days In. You ever watch that show? It's when they take...
Oh, when they're going... Yeah.
They take like a civilian, they throw him in jail, and they live the life. Well, in this episode, I think this was the show. Well, it's for the show. It's they're following the female prison, and they send someone in there, and there's a scene where there's this chick from Boston, who looks like a chick from Boston, and I love my chicks from Boston, but there's a stereotype about who looks from Boston.
She like 5'6" with a mullet and itty bitties and muscles coming out of her triceps.
Are you describing me? Are you? I'm not 5'6". I'm taller than that.
I said she, bro.
Fair enough. But I mean, that's a spectrum. You know what I'm saying? That's a spectrum. But where I heard this was this woman in, I think it was 6 days in, Boston accent and all that. She had the whole thing. She was getting into a fight. And when she squared up, she said, I'm about that action. I'm about that action. And I was like, oh, I'm saying this forever.
She about that action.
She was. I was scared.
She just throw makers or what?
She didn't have to. When you have a catch line like that, a catchphrase like that,
the other chick just walked away, went back to her cell.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, if we were to walk out these doors of this business lounge, and I was to bump into someone, and they were to send me those eyes, and I was like, am I gonna fight? I don't know if I win. I'm throwing that word. Are you about that action? Are you about that action? I'm about that action. I'm gonna say stuff like that, hoping they back down.
Lesson learned from today. If you get in a pickle,
have a good catchphrase.
Be about that action.
Or be about that action.
At least put it on like you.
Yeah, maybe a catchphrase doesn't work because if you screw it up, if you're not a quick thinker and you're like, to infinity and beyond, they're going to be like, I'm fucking you up.
I'm going to put your head in the concrete.
I am going to stuff you in a locker, nerd.
Oh my God.
But I did want to ask you some things about scouting. So we talked about you taking me under your wing, you making me the next great. player evaluator, player profile, which I'm super appreciative of. And one day I will be better than you, but I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Hey, we all dream.
We all have fake dreams, but we ain't about that for Gazy. But I did have some questions. Is it possible for players, and this might be an absolute
No.
question sent in from Randy.
No.
This might be the most Randall question that you can ever ask. But if GMs are worried about a player's weight, can they do the reverse of weight cut? Can they just drink a shitload of water and then hop on the scale? So, like, because we know now that the margin of error for weight in the NFL seems so razor thin to the point where before Jahmyr Gibbs ran his 40 and got everyone back on his side, he weighed in at 199, and I saw people all over the place. And you know who you were. You fucking know who you were. They were jumping off the bandwagon because he was 199. If he came in at 200 and a half, they never left. So my thought is, if you're being questioned for being underweight, can you put on a bunch of water weight to weigh in? Is that a thing?
The funny thing is that you could. And the best part about water weight, and that's anybody who's cut weight or done anything, is that one of the big things about cutting weight is drinking water. So you might drink a gallon of water and you're going to gain that weight directly. But the purpose of cutting the weight is that you're going to piss all of it out and some.
Yeah. Well, I've seen extreme measures. They're scraping their skin,
So what we're saying is
getting the water out.
Is quite literally Bryce Young could have weighed 196 at breakfast on Saturday.
Yeah.
Drank 2 gallons of water, weighed in at 204, pissed it all out, and when he was standing on the field watching the other guys throw, he could have been standing there at 192.
And really had to pee.
Again, yeah.
He definitely had to
That's
pee
what I'm
because
saying.
he drank
Like,
a lot of water.
You can manipulate anything in any direction. Like, and if you're a guy who's, a fucking fat ass, if you're 380, and you're like, damn, I'm gonna get bad notes, so I'm 380. Maybe I should come in at 371.
Right.
You might water cut the whole week. Yeah, you might be miserable, but you might also get down to 368.
Right.
And 368 looks a hell of a lot better than 380.
Right.
It's like there's multiple ways to go at it. Yeah, I think it's all bullshit. And GMs and coaches and scouts see through that shit.
That was gonna be my next question.
Like,
dude, coaches and are these teams can't be fooled when they're nervous about somebody's weight or speed, and they're like, wait a second, okay, so we questioned the guy's speed. He cut 13 pounds, and now he's marginally faster. Great. Is that going to translate to our football team?
This is my favorite thing about it is that they're going to go to the pro day, they're going to weigh him again. And at the pro day, he might weigh 197. But also, you don't think, multiple GMs and coaches have talked about this. It's like we might see a guy 6 times through the process.
Right.
They'll go to the school 3-4 times, go to a game. You don't think during those random show-ups to campus, during those games that they come to and watch you on campus, during any of those times, and if they have any question about your weight, you don't think they're going to put a scale in front of you? They don't think they're going to ask their coach, how much does Bryce actually weigh? Those communications, those happen.
Right.
There's no reason that there's a rumor of, the website says 194, but I think he's 190. Why would you think he's 190 unless you talk to somebody?
Right. Okay.
There's communication that happens everywhere. And so as much as I love the combine, like we talked about earlier, I do think that it is kind of a facade in the centric that the media knows what the media is given.
Right.
The NFL teams know everything.
Which would make sense.
When I'm talking to a guy and I go, man, everyone's worried about Tank Dell's 4.48. And he goes, we have him at 4.43. What are you talking about? They don't use the NFL's official time.
Right.
They have their own system where they time everybody on a hand timer from the same scouts. They go to every pro day.
Some of that they trust.
So everything that they scout. So if they don't go, well, these 100 guys have a combine time and these 100 guys have a pro day time, it's going to be different. We know this. It's going to be 5/10 different, most likely.
Right.
So they just have everybody on the same scale. NFL's different. We think everybody uses NFL times. They don't.
Right.
That's the way it is for everything.
Yeah.
Not just fucking 40s.
Right.
Weight, stats, communication, coaching, playbook. There's so many things, medicals, that you have no fucking clue.
Right.
So, yeah, the answer's endless.
So why the dog and pony show then?
Money.
Yeah.
This year they had fans in the stadium for the combine, and they allowed us in the combine, media, for the first time. 26% plus 26% viewership.
Well, there was betting also,
Yeah.
which also lends to the question: do you believe? And this is kind of maybe a little tinfoil hat ish, but do you believe that the 40 times will get better? That there will drive more fan participation, if you will, because there is betting.
Yes.
Why not? It's better for the product. Like you said, the NFL, the teams know what they know.
You're going to see the pinnacle hit in 2 years when we go to Vegas. I'm projecting this thing's going to go to Vegas, and Vegas is obviously the capital of gambling.
Can I go
Yeah.
with you as your apprentice?
I mean, I think that
I can hold your bags. I can get you and Alex coffee.
deal. Starbucks.
But Alex has to share his
Do you know
tequila
what
with
my
me.
Starbucks order is?
If I had to guess, venti black.
I don't drink coffee, but I
Oh.
do go to Starbucks.
What do you get? Like a scone? Are you a scone guy?
Iced chai tea latte, light ice, 2 shots of espresso.
So you are a coffee guy.
No,
Espresso is coffee.
no,
Yeah, espresso is coffee,
it's caffeine.
but it's like coffee.
Fake.
No, it's like juiced coffee.
That's why it tastes like shit.
I mean, I don't take supplements. I just take steroids. It's like it's kind of like just a bigger version of it.
It's not muscle. It's meat.
It's not muscle. So that's maybe the episode title. It's not muscle. It's meat.
All right, so this goes right into it. It's not muscle. It's meat. This guy was on the vertical diet. I don't know if you know this, but before I became Carpentier NFL on Twitter, on Instagram, I was the vertical power lifter. I still power lift. Going through an injury,
I remember some of those videos.
going through an injury phase right now. So
Injury phase?
Yeah.
What'd you injure?
My lower back. And I haven't
who's blowing that back out?
posted.
Alex was blowing that back out in Indy.
Jesus Christ, man. I haven't posted very many lifting videos because I've been going through this, but the vertical power lifter was because of the vertical diet.
Yeah.
I met Stan Efferding, had him come to Minnesota, lifted with him. Amanda Lawrence lives in Minnesota. Arguably, I would say top 3 right now, greatest power lifters ever, female.
I mean, I know her name, and if I know her name, she's got to be the
She's
greatest.
awesome.
Right.
She's awesome. Lifted with her multiple times. Her garage. Her and Calvin are fucking awesome. Shout out. I doubt they watch this, but shout out. I'm going to send it to them just because.
Hopefully they're watching.
And the point more so is Stan Efferding, the vertical diet, is what Jon Jones was gone for the last 2 years. Jon Jones was on the vertical diet, eating hamburger, rice, butter, eggs, steak, bison, peppers, carrots, spinach. That's the bulk of the diet. The number one meal is Monster Mash and cranberry juice, whole oranges. That's the whole 9 yards for the vertical diet. Jon Jones has been on that for 2 to 3 years with Stan Efferding. Jon Jones went from 205 to 255.
Yeah.
And made his debut at heavyweight a few weeks ago.
Yep.
And fucking dogged Cyril Gahn.
I mean, so here's the thing. If you're we're going to pivot kind of like the bridge of MMA and NFL here, which makes sense because Jon has brothers in the NFL. So why not talk about Jon Jones? His progression in weight is how you do it.
Yes.
You don't just get steroid out and shredded. If you notice his physique, a lot of people thought it was unassuming because you couldn't see his abs and you were used to seeing his delts fly away.
And you look at the other side of the cage, Cyril.
He is that guy. He could be a D tackle. He looked like that.
Yeah.
And he just ragdolled him.
Ragged him.
I mean, and people, I personally, I'm not an expert in the game, but I do watch a lot of MMA. I've been a fan of MMA for a long, long time. I knew that was going to happen. And I'm not saying I'm some prodigy or some guy who could predict the future, but when you watch the Francis Ngannou versus Cody Gauntlet, and you said Ngannou could wrestle him, Jon Jones is going to make him whatever he wants to make him. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, he submitted him in a way that even the commentators, even St. Rogies was like, is his arm under his neck? What's happening? And he's like, I think he used the term soft tap.
Yeah.
That's how big and strong he's gotten using this vertical diet, using, the progression to get to this weight. And he's an absolute beast.
GOAT. Literally.
No, he's the greatest of all
the
time.
Unequivocal GOAT. Tom Brady's the unequivocal GOAT in the NFL.
Yes.
LeBron James, unequivocal GOAT in basketball.
False.
Jon Jones, unequivocal GOAT in MMA.
No questions asked.
Wayne Gretzky, unequivocal GOAT in hockey.
No questions asked.
That's 4 GOATs.
It's 3 GOATs in LeBron James.
Well, anyways, Jon Jones is the name of the game.
Yeah.
The top of the topic.
Yes.
Is there anybody in the NFL? Is there anybody in the NFL psycho enough
To fight him. To beat him.
to swamp donkey, knock out Jon Bones motherfucking Jones?
So, in breaking this down, because you can't just say yes or no. This is a show. We got to talk about it. Anyone under his weight is out. It's out, in my opinion. There is not an athlete that could take him down based on athleticism under his weight, because he's so good at fighting. And fighting is it's an art form. It's poetry in motion. That's just, you got to do it to succeed at it. And the way he does it at that level, I don't care how explosive player is. If you weigh 195, 205, 215, 220, you are going to get swamped by Jon Jones. Now what comes into faction here, what we have to consider is, can someone who outweighs him kind of just
keep
lay
up
and
with
pray, ground and pound, fall on him, withstand what he can give? I don't know. I mean,
who are the first few names that come to mind? So me, you naturally have to go right to Chandler. Chandler, I say no.
Chandler, no question. His brother. So the rumors always were that because the hierarchy was Arthur, John, Chandler. Chandler was the youngest. He was probably the most gifted athlete of the 3. Even John will admit that Chandler Jones is the most athletic kid in the Jones family. But he always would say that when they were kids and when they were adults, even when Arthur was on the Colts and John was fighting for the light heavyweight championship, that Arthur could get him.
Yeah.
Arthur was strong
Arthur was
enough,
a bad dude.
and he was a bad dude, and he was strong enough to wrestle with him. He was strong enough to get in the ring with him.
So
Chandler, no question. John is beating the living dog shit out of his little brother.
Yeah. That's what I think the thing is like, nobody, you said below his weight's going to get there. Like a Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor might have been below his weight. We're going way back, right?
Right.
But I think you had to be
on coke or off coke.
If you were that size, if you were 240 and less, 250 and less, you had to be that type of twack to keep up with John. So I think Arthur, is on that Mount Rushmore of guys that could fuck with John.
So that's our archetype that we're building.
We got to build a little Mount Rushmore of 4 guys that we think that we would want to, because I don't think anybody one-on-one. Breaking news. Nobody one-on-one is going to beat John. We're gonna mold this into this, right? We got to give him a Mount Rushmore.
A Frankenstein.
No. A Mount Rushmore of 4 guys.
Okay.
Bing, 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 bing. And John has to face all 4 in the same night.
Okay, so this was for the exercise. We'll put the 4 guys out, and then
it's a gauntlet.
And then we'll predict where he falls.
Yes.
Okay,
so Arthur is going to be on the list.
Is he?
Arthur's on the list.
He's older now.
I don't give a fuck.
He's out of the league as the athlete.
Arthur's
is he still
on the
doing it?
list.
Okay. What's Donald weigh? That's the guy that comes to mind immediately. What's Donald weigh?
Donald's 290 to 300.
Okay.
I would put the first person that came to my mind was Donald.
Right.
So I put Donald and Arthur. So we got to get 2 more guys.
What does Max Crosby weigh? Because he has that. You've seen him on the basketball court. The dude's athletic.
I think he's too lanky.
But that might work because Jon Jones is super lanky. That's always been John's best trait of his physical tools was his length. The fact that he could just hit you from so far with so much power.
So we're thinking. So you're talking length. What about Max Crosby versus Danielle Hunter?
See, now I need to know the sizes because they both play this similarly.
Oh, Travon Walker.
He's young enough, so he's got that extra.
And he's got
piss and vinegar.
He's got 35.5-inch arms.
Right. He's strong.
That's where John has the length, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Travon Walker is low.
Travon Walker would be a good. That might be someone that we could put on the list. We'll put him on the back burner. He's in consideration.
So
Arthur's a lock. We'll lock in Arthur.
I think Arthur's the first guy out to shoot.
Okay, because he could also
he's going to wear him down a little bit.
He's going to wear him down the most.
He knows him best.
Yeah.
He's going to wear him down.
He can also coach the other 3.
Yep.
Okay, I'm with that.
And then we have Donald on the list, tentative where he's going to come in.
Yeah.
I might have to have him come out after he's already taken down on the ground or something.
He might be the best bet at like number 4. Back cleanup.
Yeah.
Get someone who's and
have all the energy and the piss and vinegar and just go.
Because my brain goes to, okay, who gave John fits? Who could battle John? Daniel Cormier couldn't beat him, but he also was worthy adversary. Short, stout, heavy.
That's a good call.
You know?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett's a freak. That's a good one. Myles Garrett's a freak. He obviously has the length. He also can. I like Myles Garrett. I think we should put him on the list. But he's crazy. He almost bashed in Mason Rudolph's head in.
Myles Garrett, Trevon Walker, Max Crosby, Danielle Hunter, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry's getting washed.
Really?
Derrick Henry's getting smashed.
Even though
he's what, 220?
Yeah. No, he's probably 240. But I mean, he's just not. He doesn't got that. He's strong as shit, but he doesn't got that it.
We got to go defense. There's no offensive player that's even going to come close.
I agree.
No offense, even offensive linemen. Offensive line will be too slow. They'll get choked out or peppered with shots.
I was thinking of who's the one offensive lineman that might be able to be added to that group.
We're talking tackle. Anything in the interior, they're just too. I don't know. They're not too slow.
Quentin Nelson would be too slow.
He would be too slow.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like who's somebody who has some height to him, some build to him, plays on the outside, so they have good footwork. They're faster, typically, right?
Trent Williams.
Trent Williams is a little old, though.
Like 3 years ago.
Trent Williams 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah. I mean,
because remember he was fucking black visor, fucking he'll throw a punch at you.
He was tough. I also think we should bring this into our consideration, into our deliberation. Greg Hardy, defensive end, would get his ass kicked and has gotten his ass kicked. He
would get donkey punched.
Oh, I mean, he's fighting in some Irish bare knuckle boxing backyard arena and got knocked out by a guy who looks similarly to me.
All right. Bottom line is we got to stay on defense.
We got to stay on defense for sure.
We got Myles Garrett. We got Trevon Walker,
Arthur.
Max Crosby, and Danielle Hunter.
Yep.
And we got to fill 2 spots.
Right. Okay.
Is there anybody else we should add to this conversation?
Did we add Donald?
Donald's already on the mound. So Arthur and Donald.
So we need the 2 spots. Right. The 2 last spots.
We need to fill the last 2 spots with 2 of these 4 guys, unless there's somebody else in the NFL, which I've been trying to brainstorm. I can't think of it. It'd be off my hand.
No, because Parsons is probably too small, right?
Jordan Davis might be too big.
But if we make him first, John, that's a big mountain for John to climb.
That's a tall motherfucker.
That's a big boy. So
6'8" donkey that can run 4.
John's going to pepper him. He's going to spinning back fist him to the next oblivion. But
Jordan Davis 1.
I think if we put
Jordan Davis first and then Arthur.
Yes, because I think there's something psychological that we go to Arthur first and then Jordan Davis, because I think there's something
it's a young bull.
In something like, do you have a younger brother?
Yes.
You could be dog tired, and if it comes to competing with him, are you losing? Fuck no. I got a younger brother too. Who's a better athlete than me?
Shout out to Tiger.
Yeah, that's your younger brother?
Just my little brother.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I know. That's awesome. But yeah, I got a little brother too, who's a better athlete than me. Definitely not better looking, but definitely a better athlete. And I've competed with my whole life, so I've always had that oomph. So I think we get that out of the way first. Yep. Because I think if the later we put Arthur, the better chance we give John to find that next level, that next gear, to be like, I ain't losing my brother. I ain't losing my brother.
So we got the old man Arthur coming out first with the brother.
Yeah, wear him out.
He's gonna take a lot of energy out of it
for sure.
Then he's gonna get him down. He'll choke him out at some point. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. Choke him out.
It's a choke out.
Then Jordan Davis comes in, and you got the young bull, the young version of Arthur, the young, bigger, more athletic version.
The mountain. I mean, he's a big dude.
The mountain.
And I think that John, at this point, he's not grappling with Jordan. I think he's fighting him. He's striking, which is good because that's gonna drain his gas tank in a different way.
He's gonna be kicking.
He's gonna be kicking. I feel bad for Mr. Davis. Jordan, I am sorry for this. You are gonna get the shit kicked out of you, but
he's gonna take.
It's gonna serve a purpose.
He's gonna take.
And he's gonna be able to take it. He's a big guy, and we are gonna be in the corner. Obviously, we're gonna be the corner guys, and we're gonna be yelling, "Fence! Push him on the fence! Lean on him! Lean on him! Lean on him!" And then when he falls, now we got our 2 dogs.
Now is when I think you put Myles Garrett in there.
Now you put Garrett because I think we have a chance to win here.
Because I think Garrett
at third.
I think Garrett could put.
He could.
Garrett could throw a knock.
He can keep him far away. He could actually kind of maybe stay at a distance. But I mean, all of our guys, we are coaching them. We want close, dirty boxing, lean on them on the cage, head on the chest, hand on the mouth. We're fighting dirty.
Yeah.
We need to fight. This is
That's
the
the only way,
GOAT.
that's the only way you're beating
This
him.
is the GOAT.
And I don't even think you can, it's the only way you're beating him. But the thing is, if he gets through, I don't know if you're going to beat him.
We might not because he's so good on the ground.
Arthur, Jordan Davis,
Myles Garrett. And then we're throwing Hulk on him at the end. Aaron Donald. Yeah.
You hope that John is so worn down
Yep.
that Donald just goes in there and he's got the low center of gravity.
Mm-hmm.
He does the Cormier thing and he potentially gets a takedown.
Yep.
And at that point, John's so tired that there's no more ground and pound. There's no more wrestling for John.
Right.
That Donald just has the dog in him, and
Mhm.
that's what you're able to suffocate him and potentially get those 28-inch pythons around his neck.
That's what we're hoping for. What we would have to tell Aaron, though, is listen, I know you're coming in
He
last.
wouldn't joke about it. He would just throw punches. I don't know what I'm joking.
He can't, though. We have to tell Aaron, listen, Aaron,
Ground and pound.
you cannot fight this man. He's going to be tired. You need to just smother him and we're going to teach him 2 chokes, rear naked and guillotine. That's it. We're not going to get fancy with it
Yeah.
because we're not going to be like, throw a Darce out there. We're not going to throw this.
You got time to teach him.
We don't have time. No arm locks, no leg locks. Although, if we could teach someone a leg lock, is there anyone lanky enough to go for like a quick heel hook, like dive on the leg? Who's like a giraffe in the NFL?
It would be easy if we just signed Gordon Ryan to like the Seahawks or something.
Well, that would be the easiest. I mean, if we can get a guy like Gordon Ryan, now we're cooking with gas. Like we can get a little undercover move, grab someone from the MMA ranks, jiu-jitsu for sure.
Yeah.
Because we would want somebody. Because at that time he's going to be so tired. Because he's going to kick the shit out of these NFL players, but he's going to get tired.
He's got to put a lot of.
Because these are some big dudes, strong dudes.
So that's the 4. That is the question. I don't think when you thought of this one, I don't think you thought we were going to go that deep. We went deep.
That's what we do.
The 4 guys that guillotine style,
Gauntlet style.
Gauntlet style. The 4 guys, gauntlet style, that could potentially give John a run for his money. Jon Bones Jones. You send out Arthur Jones first.
Mm-hmm.
Then you send out Jordan Davis, the young bull from the Philadelphia Eagles. Then you send out Myles freaking Garrett.
Yes.
That's where you think that's the underrated one. And then finish the game with Aaron Donald if you need to get there.
That's your best bet. That is your best bet. And I feel so bad for Jordan Davis because I respect him as an NFL player. I think he's going to be really great in the game. But we're sending him in to be a punching bag in round 2. Because from this strategy, what we're saying is Arthur knows John enough. He's going to at least challenge him enough where John's like, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be. And then he sees a mountain of a man and goes, my strategy has to change. And we're just saying, lay on him, Jordan, push him. And now we're just sending out the athletes, the dudes who are damn near 300 pounds with abs, the Bob Sapps of the world that can actually be athletic. That's what we're trying to do. I think we have a good foursome here.
I like that.
I think we have a good foursome.
I'm going to interrupt this program right now just for 2 questions. One is, it's not a question. Please do me a favor. Click that like button. Click that subscribe button. Do us a favor. Promote the show. Click like I said. Type it into YouTube, Player Profiler, The Players Lounge. Also on podcast, wherever you are, Apple, Spotify, Widget, Wonker, Donker, wherever you are, wherever it's in your pocket, type in The Players Lounge. Click 5 stars. Give us a review. Do the damn thing.
Do it.
Much appreciated. The next thing I will stay out there. We have a wide variety of listeners. Just so you know, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. Are either of us from here?
I'm not.
I'm not either. And these shows are continuing to be on the road. And so one of the things on here, I know this is episode 1, but we're going to be looking for sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be looking for guests. If you have any ideas on guests, people you dream for us to have on the show, leave a comment. DM me at Carpentier NFL. DM him at Matty Kiwoom.
Yes.
Email me at podcast at Roto Underworld or Cody at Roto Underworld. Leave us a message. And if you're looking to sponsor the show, we're here. All ears. Let us know. Sponsor the show. You'll be well appreciated and well communicated with about that. Back to the show. We got 10 minutes left, Matty.
Okay.
Where should we land this jet?
I needed to talk to you about something because, and this is a little bit fantasy related, so let's bring it back to fantasy. You got a shout out from the fantasy content god, the talented Mr. Roto himself, Matthew Berry. How'd that feel, man?
Matthew Berry's awesome.
What was that about?
He's a good dude.
Talk to me about it.
We were at the Combine a few weeks ago, Alex Dunlap, and like I said before, communicating with guys like Lance Zierlein, Matthew Berry, meeting them, rubbing shoulders with Matthew Berry for 4 days at the Combine. It was pretty cool. Sitting there, going through interviews, and then he come up and say, "Man, hey, what's he talking about? What's he doing?" And it was just one of those things where you talk about growing in the industry, and especially when you look back on like where you started and things like that. Like I started out, I was the first intern Matt had, made $0. That was I mean, Player Profiler wasn't making much back then, and to think back to those days where I was like, man, I don't know. To think back to the days where I took that leap. We moved across the country for my wife to go to medical school, and these are all the things that are going through my mind when I'm meeting guys like Matthew Berry and maybe Pat McAfee says my name while I'm at the Liberty Pro Day, like things like that you manifest. You think about. You're like, oh, man, one day I want to be a McAfee. One day I want to meet Matthew Berry. These are the things that go through your brain when you're in those moments, and even hours after. Is like, man, we moved across the country. I had no job after COVID, after graduating. And, sell my dad's car to my sister. He passed when I was young. I got the car, whatever. And it's like I took that leap, I bet on myself, and like feeling that where it's like he gave you a shout out. That means he knows who you are. And you think about that, and I think about that as like, hey, he knows who I am.
It's big.
But then you talk about earlier, like, I was nervous to meet you. And it's like, I mean, we're bros, dude. We've been talking for fucking a year plus. And like, if you're nervous meeting me, like think how nervous I was meeting Matt.
Like he's like the guy.
That's
he's
what I'm
the
saying.
pin at the top of the
I never thought I would
chain.
meet Matt. When Matt first said my name on the Song Truth, I told you before, the first time he ever said it was like early doing my internship. And I was like, I remember where I was at. I was on Washington 27th, Grand Forks, North Dakota, riding in my Ford Focus, had the Song Truth on him and Nate. At the time, I hated Nate because of his takes. Shout out Nate Liss. But like
shots fired.
Those are the things that go through your brain is like, thinking back to the early stages, the what if I would have never made it this far? How far have I made it? How far man, I don't even have 10,000 followers on Twitter. I don't care. Like I'm confident in my ride. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to be the one that sucks dick to get to 30, that sucks dick to get to 50. I don't give a shit. Those numbers will come. I would just rather grind and get in the acknowledgement like you just mentioned. It gives you a sense of gratitude and appreciation, but I mean, that dog ain't leaving me.
No,
we bought that
action. That action, baby.
We bought that action, man, and I appreciate you bringing that up, and because it's cool. You never think back on those things until things like, and we're talking about it now, but it's like all he did was say my fucking name in the article.
And also, let's call it spade a spade. He didn't even know where you worked. He said roster watch.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, roster watch is a great outfit.
Yeah.
Alex Dunlap, shout out to Alex. Can't wait to meet Alex. I honestly, personally can't wait to meet Alex.
Alex is awesome.
I can't wait to meet Alex. But yeah, still though, it's great. It's a lesson in what's earned versus what's given. And when you earn something, as corny as it sounds, we've had a lot of fun tonight, but let's talk real. When you earn something, it tastes better. When you harvest the crops, that food tastes better. When you cook the meal, it tastes better. And you put in the work, it tastes better. And at the end of the day, listen, you can make money, you can do all these things. You can't take any of that with you. But what you can have is a life full of memories, a life full of accomplishments. And I'll tell you what, you said the first time that Matt mentioned you, I remember the first time Matt mentioned me. Still hasn't said my name right. Matty Kiwoom. It's Kiwoom, Matt. What? It's Matty Kiwoom. Kiwoom. Just kidding, Matt. But it is. But yeah, you remember these things.
Don't disrespect the mullet.
No, I mean, this thing's luxurious, so you can't wait till you see it. But anyway, you cannot ever. These things last forever. These moments, these memories last forever. And getting a shout out from a guy like Matthew Berry is something you could put in your bucket. You could put in like, I've made it. I've accomplished something in this space that means something. When I started doing stuff for Player Profiler, I've been a fan of Player Profiler for a long time. I remember listening to Matt before Mind of Mansion was crafted. It was just the Roto Underworld podcast. And I remember when you first started as a fan. I remember when Ray G was here. I remember when the other people were here, all these guys who have come and gone. And now I'm holding a mic with the Player Profiler P. This is another memory. This is accomplishment. This is something that, I'm proud of. This is something I'm beyond excited about. And I can't wait to see where this goes. So just to piggyback what you're saying, it's just, I didn't get a shout out from Matthew Berry. Maybe one day I will. Matthew, check us out.
Let's land this jet.
Let's do it.
The next time you hear these voices, we boots on the ground in Tampa, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Tampa, Florida, Sunshine State.
Yep.
Like we said, in the flesh every week. Matty Kiwoom, you can find him on Twitter at Matty Kiwoom. Cody Carpentier, you can find him on Twitter at Carpentier NFL. You can catch the game plan every
Yes, sir.
Saturday live on the BoobyTube YouTube channel, Player Profiler. And you can find Undercovered Ops and the Futurecast. There will be a couple Undercovered Prospect episodes coming out before the NFL draft. The Futurecast as well. Matty Kiwoom.
Let's do it, baby.
Cody Carpentier. It's good seeing you, brother.
That was real. We're in person.
Hit that outro music.
Hit it, baby.